Haribol, Haribol, welcome, welcome. Today is the 4th of May, Saturday, 2024, and Varotini Ekadashi. Ekadashi today, here in Goldrundweep. So it's a beautiful midsummer's day, a simple 44 degrees. So we'll have a kirtan, and then we'll begin our Jaiva Dharma study. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Ujaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, 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 Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura. O Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, O Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Ganhaviga Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Varishabhanu Nandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Satchinandana Gaudahari Ki Jai Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Saptam Goswami Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai Jai Vaishnav Sabhaboma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Rasik Sirumani Shila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai Jai Shila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parasati Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Gahol Se Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gauthamdvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritujip Janadvip Modamdvip Rudradvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwadasa Varnapmika Shri Braja Mandal Ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ganga Jamuna Devi Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai Shrimati Yogamaya Punamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra ki jai, Ketra Mandal ki jai, Sarva Vigna Vinasakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan ki jai, Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Chari Dham ki jai, Chari Sampradaya ki jai, Chari Acharya ki jai, Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai, Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Gauda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gauda Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Agina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshush Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shwa Padantikam Priya Surupe Daita Surupe Prema Surupe Sahajabi Rupe Nijana Rupe Prabhu Eka Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavila Surupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavartinokalo Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Tudikatam Vasatipita Sada Hridare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha Yam Pravajantam Anapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ujuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Taravo Vinidustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktiya Vina Aparar Lakshay Shiptascha Karma Ditarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prabhana Brinde Namaste Charanaravindam Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Baradram Tato Mamanasti Gatyena Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvayivina Iti Vignaya Rate Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. And first of all, offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazarashi Shimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And then I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazarashi Shimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada. And again, I'm offering at the lotus feet of our beloved Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandanamane Gauda Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate, and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya and all the Vaishnav and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhavevacha Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. So, Ekadashi, and continuing our reading, beginning with the invocation verses of Falshruti. Just to capsulate, the Falshruti capsulates the essence of this Jaiva Dharma, what we're about to begin to unpack. So we're on page 831, the last four verses. Jaiva Dhamma Pateshe Shura Bhakti Hoy, Jaiva Dhamma Napadile Kabe Bhakti Noy. One who reads Jaiva Dharma with faithful deliberation will surely attain Shuddha Bhakti. But one who does not read Jaiva Dharma can never attain Bhakti. Bhakti, of course, is the practice. We are in a conditioned, diseased state. Therefore, we need to attend to that. Just as if we were in a hospital, we have to be on a specific diet, etc. And we have to heal ourselves internally and correct our vision of this world, and that we are very small, insignificant servants of that Supreme Lord. That's the initial appreciation. And then as that matures, then the Supreme Lord Himself will give us the potency to have deeper and deeper and more flourishing realizations of His blissful pastimes in Vrindavan, and will reveal to us how this is our constitutional position, how we can actually ourselves again enter into these pastimes with Krishna as his loving servant. or the maidservant of Sri Radhika. So this is our focus. Arupanuga abhiman pate drita hoy, Jaiva Dharma vimukake dharma hinekoi. Faithfully reading Jaiva Dharma. Faith, Shraddha, this Shraddha, Shabde, Vishwasa Koi, Sudrita Nishchoy. This Shraddha is so essential to cultivate. And as we've said many times, it's a growing dynamic. It's going to be increasing day by day by day by day. The truths that we're hearing, then the next day we'll have appreciation and realization of them. Then a day further, we'll have a deeper realization. So everything is evolving for the benefit of the jiva's purified consciousness. Faithfully reading Jaiva Dharma will surely strengthen one's abhiman as a Rupa Nuga, follower of Sri Rupa Goswami. One who is averse to reading Jaiva Dharma is certainly devoid of religious principles. Mahaprabhu, he's given all the empowerment to Srila Rupa Goswami. When I'm doing these invocation mantras at the beginning, I'm saying 3 mantras just dedicated to Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Manabhishtam Shtapitam Yenabhut. This is for Rupa Goswami. And then Priya Sarupe, Daita Sarupe, Prema. This is glorifying Sri Rupa Goswami. And then Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavaratinoka. This was written by Rupa Goswami. So this sets the trend, it sets the compass, it sets the focus. We are going in that direction. I am going in that direction. That is the direction that our Guru Varga is following. We are Rupanugas. Anuga means to follow. We're following Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami is indicating who are the Raga Atmikas, those eternal servants of Sri Radha in the spiritual world, Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata, Chitra, Tungavidya, Sudevi, Rangadevi, Induleka, etc. All of the eternal personalities in Vrindavan. We're going that direction. So we're Raganugas also, we're following the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Rupanuga, Raganuga. Both of these terms, if you're not fluent on them, you need to get quickly fluent on them if you're in this line. If you have respect for this line, then these are just parts of the supports to understand clearly this line. From Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, all of these personalities, Narottam, Srinivas, they're all Rupanugas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, himself. So we're only concerned with the path chalked out and elucidated by Srila Rupa Goswami and nothing else, to the exclusion of all else. There isn't any materialist who can embellish the teachings of Rupa Goswami because they're all materially orientated. They may be able to write some very flowery poetry, but will it have the essence of the truth to penetrate the recesses of the heart? Only one who is realized in the ultimate goal of service to Sri Radhika. This whole material world that we're talking about has been manifested for Krishna's pleasure by Sri Radhika. It's his world. And Sri Radhika's most exalted maidservant is Rupa Goswami. So who is a better person qualified? She was next to Rupa Goswami. He was next to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He received all of these instructions at Prayag initially in his heart at the Dashrameda Ghat. And then he began to do his writings. And then he went to live in Puridam. And that association with Mahaprabhu, moment by moment, we've experienced in this world the association of a Mahabhagavat. Some people are fortunate to have associated with 2 Mahabhagavats, or even 3. This is the greatest fortune conceivable because they have that supreme impression coming from a direct Mahabhagavat in their hearts. And what to speak of the Supreme Lord himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, pouring into the heart of Rupa Goswami. And then Rupa Goswami, he's blessed by Nityananda Prabhu. He's blessed by Advaitacharya. He's blessed by Haridas Thakur. He's blessed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He's blessed by all the devotees. So this blessing is very essential. And then he's distributing this line, this current, this Rupanuga, Guru Varga, this current is flowing down. So this is our, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur is making it very clear. This is my line, he's saying. And right in the first chapter, remember when he's describing Prem Das Babaji's internal vision in Nishanta Leela, he's telling Raman Manjari to silence the monkey Kakati because Ananga Manjari is indicating, and Lalita Saki will be unhappy. He's showing his line. Ananga Manjari, Lalita Saki. This is our family. This is our place. Why are we getting attracted to something other than this? We're just burning up our energy. We need to keep our focus. Otherwise, it won't unfold simply. So, Rupanuga. So, one who has the Abhiman, the identity of being a Rupanuga, that means we are always demonstrating the truths of Rupa Goswami, well, living the truths of Rupa Goswami. We're reading, studying, immersing ourselves in thoughts of his divine writings. And they're all channeling through our Guru Varga. It's described that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is like an incarnation, like a manifestation of Rupa Goswami. He again goes over the same, this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives us the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, and the Ujjvala Nilamani that Rupa Goswami has given us. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving us the Kiran, which is a condensed form of both of these books. He's gone over it. They're very concerned for the welfare of the conditioned souls. They only want the souls to come back to the kingdom of God. Why are we malingering in this world, looking for, distractions that are taking us away from this focus? We must be very aikantika, one focused. Java jivane je pade jaiva dharma, bhakti man se jana brita jnana karma. One who faithfully reads Jaiva Dharma 3 times faithfully throughout his entire life will be endowed with bhakti. We have to believe Satya Sankalpa, the words of a great personality. Satya Sankalpa, they cannot be untrue. They are only true. So if he says that by reading this Jaiva Dharma you will attain bhakti, we should have absolute faith in that and take it to heart. Yes, when they say, it's called Satya Sankalpa. If Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says something, like in the end of his Guru Vastikam, he's giving a benediction. If you chant this prayer every single morning, then all these truths will manifest in your heart. And yes, in the Brahma Muhurta time. Yes, very good. You will surely realize the futility of Gyan and Karma. So this knowledge and material activities will get us nowhere. And the paths of Karma Mishra Bhakti, Gyan Mishra Bhakti, etc., are futile. They're not going to take us, but we should know about them. We should know the different tattvas so we can reject them. If you don't know about Gyan, and it's described there are 3 types of Gyan, Tat Padarth Gyan, Tat means the knowledge of the Lord, and then Tvam Padartha Gyan, knowledge of the Jiva. You have to know this. We have to know who is the Lord. How is he supreme? Swayam Bhagavan. Raso Vaisa. How is he that supreme person beyond material qualities and having all spiritual qualities? This is the nature of the supreme. We have to know this, and we have to know who am I. I am Anuchit. These chapters on Jiva Tattva are repeatedly saying this. The Jiva is very small. This is our defect. This is our massive defect, that we're not accepting the supremacy of the Lord. If we just accept the supremacy of the Lord with great humility and submission, the Lord will easily indicate the most auspicious direction for us in this life. We don't have to question things. We just have to take shelter of the Lord and his kripa, this avaroha panta, this descending process. This is where we are. Krishna Ramala Seva Labi Se Nara Seva Sukhamagna Rahasada Krishna Para. Such a man, being fully devoted to Sri Radha Krishna Yugal Kishore, and having attained their Amal Prem Seva, remains forever merged in the bliss of such remarkable loving service. This service is a treasure. This service is something to be taken with two hands. It's to be taken with our entire consciousness. If some clear service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is manifesting in the heart, some clear vision, how can I actually serve Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu has given this Yuga Dharma, the Yuga Dharma direction to become ultimately a maidservant of Sri Radhika. This was unheard of previously. And it's such a lofty gift. We cannot even appreciate it practically. But if we have faith, well, it hasn't developed yet. The mind hasn't begun to be purified sufficiently. The mind is in process, like any sick limb of the body. It needs to be purified. It needs to be opened. And the rays of that chit shakti, which will manifest directly through the soul into the consciousness, will start to illuminate the consciousness in a higher way. And then we will have understanding of these tattvas.
So only the soul can really appreciate it.
The soul is hearing it, and you are the soul. But your misidentification, you're thinking you're the body, you're the mind, because you're attached to things in this material world. That's why we think we're the mind and the body, because of our attachments. As soon as those attachments to this material world start to dissolve, then very quickly we can make our attachment to the glorious, sweet soul within us. And then we can receive the sweetness of those divine rays of Chit Shakti to illuminate what is this Sangvit Shakti that can descend in the heart and how it mixes with the Hladini to create the Sambandha, that relationship with the Lord. It's a process and we're moving through it. We're moving through it slowly. So now we come to page, I think it's 369. Yes, 361, sorry. So now we've come to page 361, chapter 16, and Brajanath is asking many pertinent, simple questions, but Babaji has been purifying Brajanath by giving him the sweetest, most clear answers. And these answers are for all jivas in humanity to take this Jaiva Dharma. That's why this Jaiva Dharma can give Shuddha Bhakti. That's why this Jaiva Dharma is so essential. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur is hearing from the spiritual world what to write for the jivas of this particular time. This is not written 5,000 years ago. This is only written 100 years ago or so, this Jaiva Dharma. So it's written for us. It's a very localized. It's not written in such esoteric language that we can't access it. It's very clear, very simple precepts that we're confronting daily. So we answered a couple or three of Brajanath's doubts, and now halfway, three quarters of the way down 631, we come to Brajanath's question that we read yesterday, but I'll read it again. So Brajanath is asking now, again, he's on the back foot, so to speak. What harm would there have been if the jiva had not been given independent desire? Krishna is omniscient, and he gave this independence to the jivas, even though he knew that they would suffer on account of it. So isn't he responsible for the jiva's suffering? Beautiful question. Sublime question. We need to understand it deeply. We need to understand the question and we need to understand the answer. So Babaji, independence is a precious jewel in the absence of which inert objects are insignificant and worthless. We discussed, he was saying it before, the same point, that inert objects are useless, like a brick. It has no meaning. It can be manipulated by the jiva energy to create a building and so on, but by itself it has nothing. If the jiva had not received independence, he would also have become as insignificant and worthless as the material objects. The jiva has to have independence. This is Krishna's world, and he wants to perform his pastimes here. So he's giving the jiva this independence for them to have the capability of having some type of relationship with him. If they don't have this independence, they can't have a relationship with him. Like a brick or a stone can't have a relationship with Krishna, but the independent jivas can because of this independence. He would also have become as insignificant and worthless as the material objects. The jiva is an atomic spiritual entity, so he must certainly have all the qualities, oops, all the qualities, where are we? Just a minute, I've 2 pages here. All the qualities of spiritual objects. Spiritual objects. Spiritual objects have no contamination with material time. They have no contamination with matter. We've already discussed at the beginning of this chapter these two types of jivas. They don't even know Maya exists. Their life is love alone. That love is described in their service. That's where the heart of those sadhaks is, in their bliss of service to the Lord. We just discussed this. Amal Prem Seva. That's the dynamic of love, service. We've said this so many times. The only difference is that Bhagavan, who is the complete spiritual object, possesses all these qualities in full, whereas the jiva only has them to a very minute degree. Independence is a distinctive quality of the spiritual object. We should remember that. Independence is the distinctive quality of the spiritual object. And an object's inherent quality cannot be separated from the object itself. This is called dharma. You have a particular dharma, you have a particular propensity. Like, for example, in the mundane world, of an inert object like a broom. A broom has the ability to be used to sweep. That's, you can say it's dharma to sweep. There are so many millions of examples like this, but we have our particular propensities, our innate dharma, our capacities, our adhikar, which have evolved through our various sanskars and sukriti over many births. These desires, what we are capable, like Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, his dharma was to fight, and he was trying to take the dharma of a mendicant. And Krishna was saying, no, this is not your dharma. It's called paradharma when we try and perform someone else's dharma. But then swadharma when you perform your own dharma. We have our own swadharma, our own nature, what we're competent and capable to do and perform. And we should take great satisfaction in that capability. And so an object's inherent quality cannot be separated from the object itself. Consequently, the jiva also has this quality of independence, but only to a very minute degree. He's saying it again and again and again, because ultimately this is our problem. Our problem is our enviousness towards Krishna. We want to be like Krishna. We want to exploit his energy for our own pleasure. We want to become the bhakta. The bhakta, that means the enjoyer.
We don't realize.
It's in the wrong direction.
Don't realize that we are atomic.
Right. But it's a process even to realize this.
Yes.
Because the false ego has to become very much submissive and reduced. And like we said yesterday, you think that something's been taken away from you when you serve the master. We think now I'm being deprived of something. But it's not. When you're serving the Supreme Master, all potency will actually come to us, but we don't believe it sufficiently. Therefore, we get into trouble. Consequently, the jiva also has this quality of independence, but only to a very minute degree, because he is atomic. It is only because of this independence that the jiva is the supreme object in the material world and the lord of creation. Previously, he used the term sovereignty. He said the jiva has sovereignty over this inert world. We have the ability to build skyscrapers, roads, chop forests down, pollute the oceans, etc. We have that ability to do like that with our independence. That's the misuse of our independence. How shameful, how unfortunate the jivas have no. And all of this is a result of lack of education. If education is there from the beginning, like previously, historically, traditionally, the educational system in Bharat Bash was intact. All the young children, they would go to the guru kulas, the schools of the guru, and the guru would instruct them in Vedic wisdom and Vedic knowledge, and all those children in turn would go and open schools themselves and then instruct the next generation and again the next generation and so on and so on. That's how it would perpetuate itself. Yes, and therefore it was endlessly flowing, this pure knowledge, but then that became broken because of man's rise to become, as the qualities in man were reduced, then his distraction from the supreme path became, because his weakness was there. Once you don't have education, then you're very weak. You start to confuse in the mind. You start to think, well, I've got to support my inner moods or my desires. My Gurudev said many times, it seems like the mind and the heart of the sadhak is on one side and Krishna and the Vaishnavas are on the other. I think I'm losing my heart if I go straight to the Vaishnavas totally. I'm going to lose my independence. This is what the subject matter is about, independence. Yes, you are going to lose your independence, but you're going to gain something much greater. It's a journey of realization.
You still maintain your independence. You just make a different choice.
Actually, my Gurudev has said, the only purpose of having the independence is to give it to Guru. So that's a real confrontation. To give your independence, yes, your choice. It has to be a choice. That's the quality of your independence, to give your independence to Guru and then have trust that Guru is going to guide you. We have to give it. Guru is the representative of that Supreme Lord here. He's the localized form of the Lord here. Sakshat Davitre Nasamasta Shastre. He's that form here. We get an opportunity to actually give our complete independence to Guru. Whatever he desires for us, because we are assured that he only wants our highest welfare. That's why he's non-different to Krishna. But unfortunately, we've had cheating gurus, we've had fake gurus. They've scarred our ability just to trust in Guru. This has happened in the past. But this is all Krishna's arrangement. This means you have to be more discerning. You have to be more careful. If you yourself are completely pure, Krishna will provide that pure guru for you. No doubt. But if you have some other motivation or desire, then you will be cheated. It's called the cheaters and the cheated. This is what it's called.
Has to, has to be what one girl. Why not?
Guru is
Why
one.
not the
In
suggestion of Vaishnavas, pure Vaishnavas?
Guru is one in the essence of his teachings. But we should, it's just like a doctor. If you have too many doctors, they'll all be giving various medications and so on, and your body will get confused. It's much more direct to have a single guru, and then that guru will indicate those other personalities who can nourish you in the same swajatya, snigdha, ashraya. This swajatya, which means the same mood. If you have been impressed with the mood to go to Braja Prem, engage in Braja Prem, and then you meet someone who's very elevated, very eloquent, very charismatic, but they talk about Vaikuntha Dharma all the time. They talk about becoming liberated. That's not going to help you. It's different from what your Gurudev originally said. So you don't need to take that. You can take something from there. You can take anything from anything. But as far as your daily absorption, you should be in the same gatya, the same line as a single guru. And as much as
That's why we need to
possible,
be discerning all the time. Because,
if you have a pure guru, you will see pure guru all the time. He will never leave you. And you will see those other pure personalities who support the same truths. It's an exclusive path.
so when your guru leaves this physical presence, then it's our responsibility to look for
No, not necessarily.
like
Our
association.
responsibility is
Yeah.
to keep on following Guru,
Yes.
and Guru will be guiding us internally then.
Internally. Okay.
Previously, it was an external guidance, but when he leaves, then internally, he will be guiding very clearly. If you actually have affection and you built up some sambandha while Gurudev was on the planet, if you built up a relationship with him while he was here, then 100% for sure, he will be guiding you when he's not here. What's that? He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die when thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnava dies to live, and then living tries to spread the holy name around. The Vaishnava is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Don't you think he's not alive? His energies. We're reading from his. We're honoring his words daily. We're glorifying him daily. We're seeing his picture daily. We're offering pranams to him daily. Of course, he's connecting with us more than we can imagine. And Sri Guru is also very much so. But as much as possible, we want to associate with saintly people. So we are always hopeful for the association of saintly people. We don't have to go running around and looking for them, actually. They will come to us. I've seen people, they just start on they're going everywhere, chasing. It's not necessary. Guru will manifest, will come very simply. Guru's um, availability is Krishna's job, so to speak. He will provide that very easily. So we have Guru from previous Guru, and we have Guru also. Anyone who's speaking the same truths conclusively as my Gurudev, then I am sitting at their lotus feet listening to them, without a doubt.
So the Mahabhagavats and the Lord Chaitanya line, it's one teaching, one
Completely. But there's variety there. There's certainly variety.
like personality is
Yes,
variety.
yes.
That's kind of like
But it's still what you're attracted to. Like everyone has their own, like Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj had his own personality, a special, individual, unique personality that no one else has. Some people would have loved that, and some people wouldn't have resonated so strongly with it, depending on themselves. It's a very personal, real thing. Some people will resonate with my Gurudev. Some people won't resonate with him. My Gurudev was very bold, was very abrupt sometimes. This would actually just throw people right off. They'd run away and never come back. So some people couldn't make that connection. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had a wider net, but still there was people that would run away from him also. So all the personalities, they have their individual characteristics. And whatever it is that we're personally attracted to, that's going to support it.
but you're right. Sridhar Maharaj,
Yeah.
we've heard a lot.
Huh?
It seemed like he had like the highest knowledge, the highest realization, but he didn't give all of it. He withheld.
Everyone does.
See, you have to repeat it that proceed with caution with these higher topics. So he that kind
So
of
again, it's the Vaishishya, it's a speciality of each individual. One individual will say, fools rush in where angels fear to tread, like this expression.
yes,
So he would be cautious like that. My Gurudev was not like that.
yes.
That doesn't make them essentially speaking the a different philosophy or anything.
Right.
It's just the way that the application, and it's our choice,
Right.
our natures, and Krishna will arrange for our natures to be satisfied.
So depending on the attraction of the disciple, or
Yes, yes,
yes, okay.
yes. The independent jiva is a beloved servant of Krishna. I'll read that again. The independent jiva is a beloved servant of Krishna, and this Krishna is kind and compassionate towards him. Oh, sorry, and thus Krishna is kind and compassionate towards him. Seeing the misfortune of the jiva as he misuses his independence and becomes attached to Maya, he chases after him, weeping and weeping, and appears in the material world to deliver him. Sri Krishna, the ocean of compassion, his heart melting with mercy for the jiva, manifests his achintya lila in the material world. Anugrahaya bhaktana manusyam deha ashritata bhajate tat drishi kritva yashrutva tatrado para bhavet. That Krishna, he manifests in a human-like form to attract people to his sublime pastimes and himself. We need to be reminded of this. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusyam. Manusyam means man-like form. Bhajate tat rishi kritva yashrutva tat paro bhavet. Tat paro bhavet means most certainly the jivas will be attracted by pastimes like the Ras Leela, for example. They will be attracted to pastimes like his Vrindavan pastimes. So he manifests like that for our um, so that we can become more attracted to him than this mayic material energy, and again find that spiritual bliss in the heart.
Yep.
Sri Krishna, the master of compassion, his heart melting with mercy for the jivas, manifests his achintya lila in the material world, thinking that his appearance will enable the jivas to see his nectarian pastimes. If you're aware of Krishna's nectarian pastimes in Vrindavan, that's the greatest gift. You will want to be in Vrindavan consciousness constantly. This Navadvip Dham, meditation here, is meditation on the Vrindavan Leela's pastimes. Mahaprabhu's Astakali Leela, he sits down and he meditates on Nishanta Leela in Vrindavan. This is what Mahaprabhu is doing. We are servants and followers of Mahaprabhu. We are also meditating constantly on the Vrindavan pastimes. This is Gupta Vrindavan.
The same way Lord Chaitanya meditated.
Yes, he meditated also. So we also meditate on the Vrindavan pastimes. That means we must become familiar with the 10th canto, for example, Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Gopal Champu, all these different Krishna book, these different beautiful Leela descriptions of the Lord. If we're neglecting those Leelas, how can we remember Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan? You won't. You won't be given the inspiration to remember. You have to be reading these. It's refreshing.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, what
And Chaitanya Charitamrita refers to all of these Vrindavan pastimes constantly. Within the Chaitanya Charitamrita, our beloved Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, for example, he's described the whole Brahmara Gita, where Uddhav goes back to Vrindavan. Every single verse is there. He's described all about Rupa. Krishnadas Kaviraj has described all about Rupa Goswami, his teachings, Sanatan Goswami, his teachings, Raghunath Das, his teachings. Everything is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita to bring us to Brajadam, to bring us to Brajaras, because this is what Mahaprabhu has come to give. He hasn't come to just give Shuddha Bhakti. He's come to give Brajaras, this Rasa Tattva. Krishna's pastimes, however, the jiva does not understand that the truth about Krishna's pastimes, even after being showered by so much mercy. So Krishna then descends in Sri Navadvip in the form of Guru. Yes, he doesn't descend in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He descends in the form of Guru. You don't give Krishna, Mahaprabhu, a peacock feather. You don't give him a tulsi garland. You don't make him have the abhiman of being the Supreme Personality of God, even though he is. But that's not how we worship him. Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj would cry when he'd see them putting a peacock feather on Mahaprabhu's head. This Mahaprabhu has come in a covered incarnation for a specific purpose. He wants to taste the bhav of being a devotee. A devotee of who? A devotee of Srimati Radhika. He wants to taste her bhav. That's why he's come. He has these three desires: to understand the mahima of Sri Radhika, to understand the madhurima, adbhuta madhurima, the glorious qualities within himself that Sri Radhika perceives and becomes intoxicated in bliss by. The Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrishovanaiva Swadyenat Buddha Madhurima Kidrishova Matiya. Then the third line, Sokyam means happiness, Sokyam, Kasyam, Mad Anubhavita. Mad my, Anubhavita means astonishing Anubhavs. That he wants to taste the happiness that Sri Radhika experiences from receiving the sweetness of his love. This is why Mahaprabhu's come. So if he comes as God, how can he access that? He comes in the form of Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritiya Hladini Shakti Asmad Ekatmanav. He comes Radha and Krishna combined, completely Radha and Krishna combined. Therefore, in order to come like that, he can't come as that Supreme Lord. He is Krishna. He's always that blackish Sham Sundar Krishna, but he's covered now by the Kanti and Bhav of Sri Radhika.
Gupta.
Huh?
Hidden Gupta.
Hidden Gupta, yes. This Navadvip Dham is Gupta Vrindavan. It's hidden Vrindavan. Understand these things deeply. You'll only understand these things deeply if you think about them constantly. If these things are constantly on your mind and you're constantly seeking references scripturally in Harikatha, different people's explanations, etc., but if this is what is on your mind, then this is what is going to purify the consciousness ultimately. So we have to keep on track. He then descends in Sri Navadvip in the form of Guru. He personally describes the supreme process of chanting his name, form, qualities, and pastimes, and personally instructs and inspires the jivas to take to this path by practicing it himself. If he's God, how can he practice the path of a devotee? If he comes in the form of that Supreme Lord, then he doesn't have the bliss of experience the devotional sentiments towards Sri Radhika. He won't be able to taste that bliss. So he doesn't come like that. He comes to taste those extraordinary, specifically the Vipralamba Bhav. Because when he takes to the renounced order in 1510, he advents in this world in 1486. And 24 years later, after he leaves Navadvip, then for the next 24 years, for 6 years, he's traveling, and then 18 years, he's residing in Puri. Then the last 12 years in Puri are very intense meditation. And all of that meditation are in the moods of separation. They're not in union. It's not that he's seeing Krishna. He's hankering after Krishna. He wants to see. Once or twice, he has darshan of Krishna. Krishna's fragrance permeates the whole park where they are, and different occasions, maybe 2 or 3 occasions, but momentarily. But 95% of the time, it's just in a mood of complete separation that Mahaprabhu is experiencing. So Chaitanya Charitamrita opens up all these truths very simply, and the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, both of them, and personally instructs and inspires the jivas to take to this path by practicing it himself. Baba, how can you accuse Krishna of being at fault in any way when he is so merciful? His mercy is unlimited, but our misfortune is lamentable. So basically, Brajanath was criticizing Krishna. Why couldn't he have given the jiva a better situation? Why am I suffering? It's because of Krishna. But here Babaji's just explained, Krishna comes again. When we take responsibility for our predicament and realize that we've turned away from Krishna, not only once or twice, but we're still turning away from Krishna. Every time your higher consciousness drops and you become immersed in the material whirlpool, then you're turning away from Krishna. There's no need to turn away from Krishna. We have all the tools, so to speak, to stay. Particularly, we have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is the most powerful tool. This vibration of the holy name. We can chant for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a day to become influenced by that chit shakti, by that higher vibration. It can give us that. That's what it's capable of giving us. But no, we don't want it. We'd rather take some material ice cream or something like that. It's just how we are. We're wretched, stupid, conditioned souls. And when we realize my stupidity, my fallen nature, that's the first step into purifying it. If we don't realize how foolish and stupid we are, that means our pride is obstructing us being reflective. If we don't realize, do you understand? If I think that I'm so smart all the time, I'm so smart, then you'll just be crippled again and again and again. You'll be cheated constantly because you're not so smart. You're just using a tiny fraction of your material brain. We want the infusion of the spiritual chit shakti to emanate from the soul itself by performing divine service alone, singular service.
It's referring to mankind.
All mankind, of course.
When we start off, especially now in the West, we're atheistic. We start off in nescience, and there's a big difference between nescience and ignorance. In nescience, you don't know. In ignorance, you know, but you ignore it.
So he's saying that in the West, we start off in nescience. Nescience is when we don't know. And ignorance, but ignorance is also, ignorance is when we ignore it.
Yes, we do know, but we ignore it.
Yes, we know, but we ignore it. So that shows our stupidity even more. The foolish,
you're not stupid.
the foolish spirit soul, the foolish spirit soul. We have to tell ourselves this 1,000 times a day, because every time we want to enter the material illusion, some pride will come. Oh yes, I can flirt with Maya. I can take something from this material energy for my own benefit, and then smack. It's a wonderful science that Krishna has manifested. We just got to use a little bit of God-given intelligence. So let's try and get the next question in. Brajanath, is Maya Shakti the cause of our misfortune then? Would the jivas have had to suffer like this if the omnipotent and omniscient Sri Krishna had kept Maya away from them? In a sense, that's true, because we discussed those first two jivas, and Maya is very distant from them. And it's described they don't even know there is a material energy called Maya. Remember, we just read it at the beginning of this chapter. They don't even know there is a bewildering energy called Maya or not. They don't even know that because it's far away. So they are liberated from Maya eternally. Nitya Muktas, Nitya Jivas, eternally liberated from Maya. Whereas we are Nitya Baddha, because we are close to the proximity of Maya. So his question is, wouldn't this onslaught of Maya, if it hadn't attacked the jiva, wouldn't we be in a better position?
We wouldn't be on earth.
That's right.
Yeah.
We would be in the spiritual world, but
Yes.
we are here,
Yeah.
and we think it's great because we're trying to enjoy this material world. Go here, go there. We wouldn't want to give it up for anything, right? Our various cars and our families and we love it. It's Maya. It's the illusion. Babaji, Maya is a reflected transformation of Krishna's internal potency, Swarup Shakti, reflected. It's not direct, it's reflected. In the reflection, there's some perversion there. There's some distortion. And the distortion is that it's not actually Krishna. It's a reflection. It's called pratibimba. And it is like a fiery furnace where the jivas who are not qualified for Krishna's seva are chastised and made fit for the spiritual world. It's the purification place for the wayward jivas to suffer. Because in that suffering, eventually, we've already read, comes the wake up of discernment, of contemplation. In the extremity of our suffering, then we are pushed into, why am I suffering so much? We start to question. And when we start to question, remember yesterday, what was the result? Sadhu Sangha. We start to inquire, and then Sadhu Sangha will come. And from Sadhu Sangha association, bhakti will begin to manifest. So that suffering is an advantage for the jiva because it gives him it pushes him into a corner where he has to confront the absolute reality and make the deepest decision which way to go. Qualified for Krishna's seva are chastised and made fit for the spiritual world. Maya is Krishna's maidservant. In order to purify the jivas who have turned against Krishna, she punishes them, gives appropriate therapy, and purifies them. The infinitesimal jiva has forgotten that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, and for this offense, Maya, taking the form of a witch, Pischachi, punishes him. This material world is like a jail, and Maya is the jailer who imprisons the estranged jivas and punishes them. A king constructs a prison for the benefit of his subjects, and in the same way, Bhagavan has shown his immense mercy towards the jivas by making this prison-like material world and appointing Maya as its custodian. This is called Tattva Gyan. This is called knowledge of Jiva Tattva. We have to take it very deeply, very soberly, and with great faith that this is the Tattva. I'll read one more question. We have time for one more question. Okay, that's quite straightforward. That's no questions there. We just got to read it again and again. You have a question?
Before you said it was Abbas, the shadow, and then Patim.
No. There's Chaya.
Chaya.
Chaya is a shadow, and shadow is connected to the original. Pratibimba is not connected to the original. It's a reflection.
Ooh.
A reflection isn't connected to the original. If you've got a tree by a lake, the reflection of the tree in the lake is not connected directly to the tree. There's a separation between the reflection and the tree, but the shadow is connected to the tree. So there's a big distinction. We usually reference these two terms as far as Nam Tattva is concerned. There is Chaya Namabas and Pratibimba Namabas. Pratibimba is when you're chanting, but your heart is actually separate from the Lord. You actually don't want to be connected with the Lord. You still want to facilitate your material propensities and enjoyments. But the Chaya Namabas is when you're connected to the Lord and you're crying again to be having that sambandha with him. You understand the two distinctions?
Yes, I'm just wondering why here.
He says reflection.
Yeah,
so it's a
primary.
It's huh?
Because he doesn't mention Chaya.
No, he doesn't need to. He's not talking about Chaya.
Right.
You've brought up Chaya.
Yes.
He's just talking about the reflection. It's not connected to Krishna. This Mayic energy is not connected. My activities in Maya are not connected to Krishna. They're connected to me enjoying, like a Mayavad.
Gotcha.
Brajanath, in this material world, if this material world is a prison, it also requires some suitable shackles. This is really interesting. What are they? Babaji, Maya incarcerates the offensive jivas with three types of shackles: those made of goodness, sattvagun; those made of passion, rajagun; and those made of ignorance, tamagun. These fetters bind the jiva, whether his inclination is tamasic rajasic, or even sattvic. Shackles may be made of different metals such as gold, silver, or iron, but that makes no difference to the pain of being bound by them. For example, in the heavenly planets, they're bound, we can say, with gold shackles. They live in the mode of goodness, they're dharmic completely, but they're still bound by the attraction to Maya. This is the binding, the attraction that I can get some pleasure from this dull material energy, separate from the transcendental world. And in order to achieve this belief, one must be connected more fully with that transcendental world to build that shraddha. That will happen by our visitations to the holy dhams, by our association with higher devotees, by our studying of these shastras, by our absorption in Braj Leela, for example, by hearing the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by chanting offenselessly. As soon as we begin to chant offensively without offenses, then immediately connection can take place. And then our shraddha will become very thick and we won't have any weakness in our journey towards transcendence. This is our path. It's very simple. Jai Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari. So we don't meet tomorrow, it's Sunday. I have other classes on Sunday. We meet on Monday, same time, and we'll continue this fascinating study of Jiva Tattva. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Vaishnavas ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Vivacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha.